episode 10 of the Best Day Ever podcast. This is a podcast about all things crafty and a glimpse into my crafting journey, but it is also where we celebrate with you why every day spent crafting makes for the best day ever. My name is Trish, and I can be found on Instagram and Ravelry as Tie-Dye Diva. Show notes for this episode can be found in the Ravelry group, which is also called the Best Day Ever podcast group, and on my blog space, which is tiedyedivacrafts.blogspot.com. I will be sure to link to both locations in the description box below. Let's see, today is Monday, October the 1st, and you probably have recognized that I am in another location for podcasting today. Today is an absolutely beautiful day in the DMV, and I just thought it would be so wonderful to record an episode outside. So besides the wind blowing, you could possibly hear horns blowing, maybe some music from someone's car, a bus going by, so hopefully that's not too distracting. But I just felt like I just wanted to be outside soaking up some of this beautiful sunshine and cool breeze. It's just absolutely gorgeous today. So on the agenda today, I have a couple of finished objects. I have a few works in progress, and let's see what else, and a couple of acquisitions I'd like to share with you today. So I hope you're in a comfortable space, and you have maybe your crafting with you and a warm or cool comforting beverage, and I hope you enjoy the things I'm going to share with you today. I just have some good old H2O today in my plucky clean canteen cup. I love this. It's perfectly insulated for hot or cold, and it's a perfect day for an ice cold cup of water. Okay, so let's get started. Before I show you the crafting stuff, I do want to remind you about the giveaway for the month of October. First of all, if you are a new viewer, let me tell you how you can actually be eligible to win a prize. Okay, so first of all, one fortunate winner is going to receive this beautiful skein of plucky Traveler Aran in Triple Crown. This is the same color. Yes, this is the same color that I used for my dog walker sweater, and because it's so sunny, this is reading a little bit more yellow than it really is. It's a bit, there we go, so not quite as yellow. Yep, there it is right there. Absolutely beautiful skein of yarn, and the Traveler Aran is a mulberry, silk, yak, and merino blend, 220 yards. Again, it is an Aran weight, and it's by the Plucky Knitter. And also this beautiful project bag, which was generously donated by Melody, who is Melody Stitches on Ravelry, and her Etsy shop is called Melody's Needle Notes. I will of course link to that location in the show notes. But look at this beautiful bag. It feels like it's been lined with some type of batting because it's really nice and squishy. It does have a pocket on the inside, and the outside is done in this beautiful African motif. There's a truck going by. Okay, so I think that the two of these together are just the perfect quintessential fall giveaway. So to enter the giveaway, again, just head over to the Ravelry group, join the group, and share with us something you're excited about on your crafting journey. And thank you, Melody, for stitching up this beautiful bag for the giveaway. And Melody also generously donated a discount code for viewers of the podcast. The discount code is BDE30. So you put in BDE in all caps 30, and you will receive 30% off of a project bag until the end of October. So that is a very, very generous offering. Again, Melody, thank you so much for that. And the skein of Plucky is from my stash. Okay, so let's talk about my first finished object I want to share with you today. So this is my Girl's Best Friend shawl by Isabel Kramer. You can see it is a beautifully textured shawl from beginning to end. Just an absolute joy to knit. I won't go into too many details. If you watch episode number 9, I go into a little bit more detail about the makings of this shawl. But it's just so wonderfully cozy. I'm not going to attempt to put it on because it's quite cool. I mean, quite warm out today. It does need to be blocked though, and I also need to add the pom-poms on the end. And I'm going to enter this into the Plucktober. So every month of October, there are lots of prizes and giveaways and knit-alongs in the Plucky Knitter group on Ravelry. And I'm going to enter this into the whips portion of the knit-alongs, because I'm still not quite done with this, because I do want to add the pom-poms at the very bottom. But other than adding the pom-poms and it needing to be blocked, it's all done, and I absolutely love it. I knit this in Plucky Bellow. Again, you can just go to episode number 9 to see the colors in more detail. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this. I will show it again on the next episode so you can see how it blocked out. And perhaps I'll be on the inside and be able to give you a modeled shot. But yeah, this is, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I have another Isabel Kramer shawl that I want to knit called the Kyler shawl, and I've got yarn already set aside for that. So you'll be hearing about that soon. Next up, I also was able to finish my cherry pullover by Midori Heroes. It is actually over there on my table, blocking in the sun. So I gave it a good soak with in my Tufts Woolens bar soap, and yeah, and maybe in a couple of hours she should be all dry and ready to go. And I will insert a couple of pictures of either me wearing the sweater or it on the blocking table. It just all depends on what I'm able to get photographed before I put up this episode. So yes, the cherry sweater by Midori Heroes is all done, and she will definitely be going to Rhinebeck with me. Okay, let's see, what else do I have to, I think that's it for the finished objects. So let's get into some whips. On the last episode, I shared with you that I was deeply smitten with this new sweater pattern from Caitlin Hunter of Boyland Knitworks. So the Engels Cardigan is a top-down cardigan with a yoke motif and a little bit of lace that flanks the motif, and it's absolutely beautiful. I'm assuming that this sweater was inspired by Little House on the Prairie, and I am a huge Little House on the Prairie fan, so I knew that I wanted to make this sweater as soon as I saw it. I am aiming to have this sweater finished by Rhinebeck. I want this to be my official Rhinebeck sweater. I don't know if I can do it, but I will be feverishly working to get it done. Before I show you the sweater, I will show you this new project bag. Well, it's actually, I've had it for quite a while, but I I just used this my very first time using it. It's by Ribbon Street, and I purchased it from Knot House Yarns in Frederick, Maryland, which is an absolutely beautiful shop in downtown Frederick. Knot House Yarns also has a podcast, and they are doing some absolutely beautiful work for shop samples and for personal use, and it's a mother and daughter team. So I highly recommend their podcast, and also a visit to their shop if you're ever in the DMV area. So quick show of the bag. It's a beautiful print done on canvas, and the inside is like a polyurethane coating, which is really cool. I don't think, no, there are no pockets, but it's a good size bag, very well made, with a removable fob, which is also nice, which serves as a handle for knitting on the go. Okay, so let me show you my Engels sweater. I cast on for this about, there's a truck going by. I hope I don't regret doing this, recording outside. So I cast on for this maybe about 4 days ago, and I was determined to get the yoke and the colorwork section done before the weekend ended, and I was successful in doing that. The yarn that I chose to knit the Engels sweater is Woolmize DK. And if you're not familiar with Woolmize, they are a German company who has been dyeing yarn for quite some time, and I don't think they need an introduction. You can follow them on Instagram, probably Facebook, but yeah, they just do some beautiful work. Yeah, like I said, they've been around for so long, and I wouldn't consider Woolmize as an indie dyer anymore. Maybe they are, but they have quite a production, again, out of Germany. Now the color is, I cannot pronounce it, so let me see if I have the ball band. Yeah, I put the ball band in the center of the skein. I'm assuming it's in German, which is why I can't pronounce it. Do you see that? Zartes Nopsky? I don't know. Anyway, that's the color right there. It's this beautiful golden greenish yellow. It's really bold. Yep, that's about it. It's not quite picking up all of the nuances of color, but like I said, it's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to try to insert a picture here. And so this is where I am thus far. You can see, like I said, I have completed the motif, and I had my good knit friend Arthella help me choose the contrast color. Because this greenish yellow is so bright and bold, we thought it would be a good idea to tone it down by using a really muted color that will complement it really well. And I think it's going to be really nice. If you're new to colorwork knitting, to Fair Isle knitting, this is a great first pattern or pattern for newbie colorwork knitters, because it's it was just really, it was very easy to memorize and just very easy to execute. So I'm so looking forward to working on this, and just I have a lot from this point down. I think I have one more lace section, which is this section here, and then some more increases before I split for the sleeve, and then as you can see, it's just miles and miles of stockinette after that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to working with this The Wool-Mites Decay is an absolutely beautiful yarn. I don't know whether you can see how beautifully round and springy that is. It's just an absolute joy to work with, and the dye job is just amazing, beautifully saturated, and I think it's gonna, oh, that was a tray that just knocked over in the wind. I think it's gonna block out absolutely beautifully. This sweater, the pattern has you to knit it. It's a very loose fitting, oversized pullover, but I'm going down 2 sizes because I don't want my sweater to be as loose as the pattern calls for. So again, I went down 2 sizes, and I also went up on my needle sizes because I wanted to have more of a drapey fabric for my sweater. I also didn't tell you the contrast color. The contrast color is Biscuit. No, that's not the contrast color. The contrast color is Hello Gorgeous, and the base is Plucky Cozy, which I believe is a merino camel blend. So a beautiful, beautiful base. And I held the cozy with some kid silk mohair from Drops. And I want to make a correction on something I said last week. I said that Drops yarn was a yarn from the UK, and I was corrected. It is actually a Norwegian yarn. So thank you to the viewer who corrected me on that. But yes, this is the Engels Cardigan, and I'm very excited about working with making this cardigan. I think it's gonna get lots and lots of wear in my wardrobe, and hopefully at Rhinebeck this year, which is, I can't believe it's only a couple of months, a couple of weeks away. Okay, next up, hanging out in my bejeweled French supply bag is a hat, and it is definitely hat knitting season, wouldn't you agree? So I had in my mind that I wanted to been thinking seriously about getting into knitwear design. I've never designed anything from scratch for myself, but I'm notorious for editing all patterns that have already been written to my taste and preference. And so while I have a long way to go in that goal, it's definitely something that's on my radar for wanting to do. So this is an effort in designing a hat. And let me just tell you what some of the properties of this are. The bottom brim is just some basic garter stitch in the rim. And then you can see where the color appears to be changing, but I'm actually using the same color, but I am holding it together with a lace weight or a light fingering mohair silk blend. So the yarns that I'm using, this here is Plucky Sweater, which is now a discontinued base, and I held the Plucky Sweater along with the Plucky Sophisticate, which again is a mohair silk blend. And so what happens when you hold it, the sweater, with the Plucky Sophisticate, it actually changes the color of the body of the hat. And the colors that I'm using here, I hope that's reading well. This color here is called Danny Ocean, I believe. Let me double check. So definitely yes, Danny Ocean. This was from the Plucky Fellas 2017 club. And Danny Ocean is the color. It's grays and blues and greens and browns, and it's absolutely beautiful. And here is the Sophisticate that I was using, and I don't have a color name on this Sophisticate, but it is a very light gray. So you can see what happens when you hold the lace weight or the light fingering with the sweater. It just totally changes not only the texture of the hat, but also the color. So what I'm going to have to end up doing, however, is if I decide to put this out as a pattern, I would definitely have to work with my stitch count, because this is a really large hat. It fits me well because I have a larger head and I also have a lot of hair. So let me try it on so you can see. So I definitely wanted it to be slouchy and oversized, and as you can see, it works really well for me, and it would work really well for anyone else that has a lot of hair or has a larger head. I definitely wanted it to be able to cover the ears, and I absolutely love it. So I could keep the stitch count like this and make this a large size, and then maybe go down a stitch count and have a basic or an average size. But yeah, I love the way it feels. Again, because of the silk, it's a really drapey but very warm and substantial fabric when you hold that Sophisticate with it. And I'm on the decreases now, and it's just some basic knit 2 together on every other row decreases. So this is fun, and hopefully this will be done by the next time I record. Will it be my very first pattern? I don't know, but yeah, it will definitely be my very first knit hat of the season, and I'm looking forward to finishing and wearing it. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about those. I am knitting these on my Knit Pro Zing needles. Oh, size 7. So the brim was knit on a size 5 needle, and the body is being knit on size 7s. So that's another thing I could think about, adjusting my needle size to either get a tighter gauge or a smaller hat. So lots of possibilities with that. Okay, I think that's all I have to share with you in whips. There are a couple of others, but not a lot of progress has been made on them, like socks and such. So let's move on into my new to me hobby. So on the last episode, I shared with you how excited I was to be working with some embroidery, and that I was going to just take a piece of fabric, like a low volume print from my stash, and hoop it up and start a sampler, embroidery sampler. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably have already seen this, but there it is. So this is one stitch. I believe this is a back stitching here. The one under here, gosh, I can't remember, was it a running stitch? I'm so new at this, I can't even remember the names of the stitches, and I'm not sure that's going to show up. This stitch here is a non-traditional embroidery stitch that is in the boho embroidery book that I mentioned in the last podcast. And the writing is backstitching, and I really like the way the writing turned out. My lazy daisies are quite lazy. They need a lot of work, but that will come in time. And as you can see, I just drew some little basic flowers and I'm going to fill those in with some satin stitching and some other colors. And there are a couple more lines here I just drew on there. I'm going to also practice some more basic stitches, and I may fill in some of this space here with some other designs. But I am absolutely really enjoying this. I'm still, as I said, very much a newbie to this, but I can see that it's something that I'm going to be really enjoying in the weeks to come. So I had this little basket sitting in my craft room. I think this was gifted to me by someone, sent me a gift in the mail, and I didn't want to throw it away, but I knew it would have a good use, and it's just perfect for holding my embroidery supplies. And speaking of supplies, let me just share with you what I have in here. This is a loop, a little sample of fiber that I got from probably Maryland Sheep and Wool some years ago. So this fiber would work really well with maybe if I did a design and it was of a person and I wanted to like fill in some hair. So like the possibilities are so endless when it comes to embroidery. I feel like it's getting kind of dark, but if I come in the sun, it's like too bright. Okay, so I've got my needle holder here. This was gifted to me by someone in my quilting bee group. So I love this because this is the perfect place to keep your different size needles. So that stays in here. Some other weights of yarn. This is hand spun that I have been wondering what to do with. So that might find a place in an embroidery project. I did just purchase these Fiskars Snips at the recommendation of Nicole in the Boho embroidery book. Here's another piece of hand spun that I can use. This is the drops yarn that's in my Engels sweater. It's a lace weight mohair kid silk, and so this will work really well for some hair or some other interest. So yes, so this is a piece of fabric that I picked up from Hobby Lobby this weekend, and I am over the moon excited about it. It is a beautiful print, and it's got lots of potential for doing some embellishments on some of these prints. Look at that beautiful bird. This is like a cotton canvas here. I purchased a full yard of it. Look at that beautiful flower there. So I have enough to do some boho embroidery on it, as well as to make a project bag if I choose to. So this is probably just I think it's was designed to be an outdoor fabric, but I think it'll be perfect for either a project bag, and definitely plenty left over for an embroidery project as well, or maybe even embroidering it and making a project bag. So yeah, again, the possibilities are endless. Okay, so I think that's all I have to say about that. Oh, it is so absolutely beautiful out here. So beautiful. So before I close, I want to share with you a couple of acquisitions since the last time we talked. I'm sure all of you have heard about the devastating Hurricane Florence that hit the East Coast a few weeks back. And I was scrolling through Instagram a couple of weeks ago, and I noticed that Nicole, I believe her name is, of Maker's Haven, was dyeing up a skein. I want to say commemorative skein, but she dyed up a special skein and the proceeds, a portion of the proceeds from this special skein would go towards hurricane relief efforts. And so I wanted to support her and that effort, and so I purchased the special skein, and here it is. It's absolutely beautiful. The colorway is called After the Storm. It is an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and it's 400 yards. So yeah, Nicole, this is absolutely beautiful, and I'm looking forward to working with this. This will make a beautiful pair of socks. Makers Haven is not the only one who was doing something similar in an effort to raise funds for the relief efforts. There were several other makers doing the same thing, so I thought that was wonderful. Next up is a prize that I won from one of my favorite podcasts, which is the Yarniacs podcast. The Yarniacs podcast is hosted by, I am drawing a blank on the ladies' names, Gail and Charlene, of course. So every year, Gail and Charlene of the Yarniacs audio podcast do a make-along, which is called the Colors of Fall Knit-Along. And so what, the company Pantone, they are the industry leaders, I guess you could say, for colors, and they come up with a color of the year. And I think the color of the year this year was ultraviolet, and then they have all of these other coordinating colors. And so what Gail and Charlene do is they put together this palette of colors, and we as knitters, we choose one of those colors and we create a garment, either crochet, knit. I'm not sure if weaving is allowed, but not only to create the garment, but also to create a whole outfit. And so it's so fun to be able to knit something and then figure out what you're going to coordinate with your new hand knit or hand crocheted item. And so I'm going to insert a picture here of the way I decided to style my garment. And the garment that I knit for the knit along was my dog walker sweater, which is a plucky knitter design, and I knit that again in plucky knitter traveler Erin in this color. And again, I'll just insert a picture here of how I one of the ways that I'm going to wear my dog walker. And so I was chosen as a winner, and what I won was this beautiful set of yarn from the yarnery, and this is so that I can make this beautiful scarf here. And the name of the pattern is, let's see, it's called the Veranda Wrap by Scott Rohr. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't realize I was moving the camera. The sunshine is really nice, but it sure does show my gray hair. Debating what to do about that, to dye or not to dye. Okay, so this is the Veranda Wrap. And so the kit came with the pattern as well as the yarn to make it. So I'm not sure if I'm going to knit the Veranda Wrap. These colors would also make a beautiful Birkin sweater by Caitlin Hunter, so we'll see. The yarn that was included is from Host Garn, and the base is the Coast base, which is a 55% lamb's wool and a 45% cotton. It is a light fingering, and it's 383 yards per skein. So really excited about that. And there's another view of the rack, and they were also nice enough to include this nice little notepad, but you can never have too many notepads. So yeah, I think that is all I have to share with you today, and it's a good thing because I am baking. The sun is like shining like right down on me, and I don't know if you can tell, I'm actually, there's an airplane going by. Hold tight. We live about a 10-minute drive away from Andrews Air Force Base, so we hear quite a bit of plane noise. I think I've actually gotten used to it. Sometimes it sounds like there's a plane is going to land right here in this backyard, and then when there's the air show, it's kind of nice because we can actually see some of the action from the air show. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and thank you for indulging me for wanting to be outside today in this beautiful day in the DMV. I hope you were able to hear what I had to say and see what I had to say. Please don't forget to head over to the Ravelry group so that you can be entered to win this beautiful prize. And if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to hit your subscribe button so that you can be notified of when I upload episodes. Yeah, I think that's all I have to share with you. The next time I talk with you, it will either be at Rhinebeck or after Rhinebeck. So excited about that. So yeah. Thank you again for joining me, and never ever forget to spend a little bit of time every day with your crafting and make it the best day ever. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.